We're here in my office, and this is something I'll be doing every year. I planted these Paperwhites in a glass bowl. I filled the bowl with rocks or stones at the bottom. And then on top of the stones, I put coconut fiber and then the bulbs on top and then moss. And they bloomed like this in 3 weeks, right in time for Christmas. Planted at the beginning of December. This is such a joy. Right here in my office to look at as I'm working. My desk faces this window, which is south facing. In winter, the sun's low in the sky, so I get that direct sun. This is a little fountain that my mom gave to my grandma when I was really little. And I don't have any water running, but it just takes a little pump. I absolutely adore it. Some dried flowers from last year's harvest. And then here is the Valeriana, or the house impatiens. In Spanish, it's called joy of the house. That's how it translates, and really is amazing. This room is unheated for now, and it's about 15. So my oxalis, it's not growing. It stopped, but it hasn't gone dormant, which is cool. It's flowering a little bit, but slowly. And then here, this is, I don't know if it's wild oat grass or what it is, but the seeds are gone. It just has this really pretty texture that I like to have in the room. Looks real pretty. At the next Gardeners Club meeting, we're gonna have a little game to celebrate our anniversary, and this is gonna be the gift for the winner. I'm gonna try stevia this year. Wish me luck. My bedroom window is also south facing. So I've got this, it's a type of mint. It's called cologne mint, and she is a beast. I learned not to let her be in the ground because she wants to take over. Really does smell super strong of like an orange cologne. Oh, hi, teddy bear here. What you doing? I got my peppers right here with a heat mat on bottom and a heat mat on the side because they need heat to germinate. We're at 23 degrees, but that still isn't warm enough, I don't think. But I've got here ají amarillo, rocoto, habanero, Italian pepper. Those seeds are from a neighbor. Cayenne and Thai chili, I think. Fingers crossed. My kitchen is also a south-facing window. So in winter we get, like I said, the sun is low in the sky. And this long pot here is so funny. I had it only for oyuco, which is a Peruvian potato that they were selling really expensive at a fruit stand. and it was already sprouting. So I'm like, ah, and I stuck it in the soil. It's here, it's ready to go. But I don't know what I'm gonna do with it when it gets real hot, because I don't think it likes that real hot sun. The leaves are super tender. So she's just in here waiting, hopefully warm enough to form some tubers to keep her going, at least until I plan what I'm gonna do. And then in the meantime, she kind of got invaded with other cuttings, and a little baby plant waiting. Some cuttings. But it doesn't matter, because all the cuttings have short roots, and I only put them in here to wait and to root in just a little bit before I pot them up when it's warmer outside. And in the window, I've got lemon geranium and little violas. And wow, geranium in a south-facing window does not need any protection. It only gets to be like maybe -5 here, not too bad. So I think since she's up above any frost in a window, that's why she's okay. How exciting. I got my little shelves, cookbooks, and up here the mother doesn't get direct sun, but she sends off these little pups who are reaching for the sun, and I love her. The spider plant, this one is variegated, which I absolutely love. I'm really proud of that idea that I had. I did a cutback on winter savory, and I got some of that new growth really vibrant, and just tells me that it'll be a really nice medicine. It tastes a little bit like a cross between oregano and thyme. So I put it on potatoes with garlic and olive oil. It's really good. I bought an old-fashioned carnation, which they call here the florist's carnation. And what I did as soon as I bought it was take cuttings. And the cuttings take really easily. I'm so proud and excited. I'm gonna share it with the Gardeners Club. And I think it's a perennial. So I put this little pot in the middle so I can have a way to check how the roots are doing. And I see roots in there. Awesome. And from this point on, I'll be bottom watering. And she's loving it. I can even show you that the roots are coming through already. Bingo. Exciting. I've got this peace lily here, and I decorate her by putting this honesty plant seed heads. So pretty. I'm growing a lot this year. What a nice little decoration. I had to clean out my dried flower stash, so I put them in the window. But these are all the dried flowers that I can get here. This one is thistle after flowering, of course, and I cut off the little spikes. I love this element. So pretty. Little star flower. harvested at the right time and the little seeds won't fall off. I've got here Craspedia, a type of grass. Oyuco. Hee hee hee. Lavender, different grasses. On this side, I have the Honesty that I showed you, coin flower. Here's a little element from the field. The light's not too good in this window because it's north facing. They grow rye here. And this is a little Sedum right here. More of that oat grass, but the seeds aren't in there. This is just the capsule. It's a really pretty element. Right here I've got some statice, and in here allium, bunny tail, I like to keep my straw flowers in here while I'm waiting, and I keep a desiccant packet inside. I don't know where it is, but it's best to avoid any humidity, because the humidity, even if the flowers were picked years ago, they will still close. It's incredible. I mean, it's mind-blowing actually. So if they sense humidity, they'll close. I'm really proud of this guy here. This is Vinca. And look at all this new growth. So exciting. All of this down here that's dangling, I'm gonna trim it off once the heat comes, because these will be stronger shoots. Look at this oxalis, so pretty. She's gonna have a pink flower in March, I think. And right next to her, I've got this Mediterranean spurge. All of these are gonna be blooms. And then when the blooms are done, I cut them all the way back, the entire stem, and then these down here will be next year's blooms, which are even more than what I've got this year. I transplanted this from another area. It can be done. It got just a little bit stressed at first, but here it is. So this is the south window with the lemon geranium I was telling you about earlier. Totally unfazed. In fact, it's growing. My plan next year is to, well, this year is to take a lot of cuttings, and I want this everywhere. It smells amazing. This is my perennial section right here. This is the little bladder campion. It's definitely perennial and it spreads. That's okay. So all this is my native area. I've got here Italian bugless. It looks, I would almost call it a perennial Chinese forget-me-not. Over here is the Inula. It's going to have a more productive year. This is the wild clary sage. And then hair allium. I found this out in the field in abundance and brought the bulbs home. They didn't bloom in the first year, but I'm pretty sure that this year they're gonna do something. So cute. Last year was my first Feverfew year, and it looks like it's gonna be a perennial, I guess. These were the stems from last year, and they have little sprouts coming off of the side. I'm not gonna interrupt it, but I do wonder if these will be long enough for a bouquet. I hope so. I'm gonna leave it just as an experiment. This year I'll be getting Aguilija. So excited. And after a long wait, I'll be getting German statice. I was worried that I may have had to lift my Coreopsis, but it's been really cold, and look who's right there at the base, showing a lot of enthusiasm. Yay! I'm not gonna cut any of this because maybe it's acting as a protection. I'm just gonna leave it. I really want those flowers to come back. I started them from seed from a nursery near my grandma's house that she took me to when I went to visit. So it means a lot to me that she keeps going. Asphodelus, saffron. This is such an interesting plant because it goes dormant in the summer, not in the winter like other bulbs. It goes dormant when it's dry, and then it wakes up in autumn, and when it wakes up, it's only a flower, only the flower. And then after it finishes and the saffron threads are collected, then it starts to prepare itself for next year. And what's cool about this is that the bulbs duplicate. They get little bulblets on the side, you see? That one was this one, whoa, 3 here on the side are new. Once they go dormant in summer, I plan to dig them up and divide them. Saffron. I gotta come out here and get some of this nettle. And make a tea. Or even add it to my vegetable broth. I have my patch of Sweet William. So I sowed it last year in spring, put it in the ground, and it didn't do anything. I didn't know at the time that it was a biennial, and this is the year it's gonna bloom. I'm really excited because that looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a lot of bloom stalks. What I did was I cloned it actually at the end of the year, because this is a side shoot. So I took one of these and cloned it. And this branch comes from yeah, there's like one base plant that sends off these little arms. So Gotta space them correctly next time and sow them in June to get them in the ground August, September, so that they can give me blooms next year. But I even wonder if they're not biennial, if they'll be a perennial. Even if short-lived, I'll take it. What a show that's gonna be. In this area here, I sprinkled Phacelia. This is gonna be my first time seeing the flowers, and I really look forward to it. It looks like it's overwintering fine so far. And here I've got my sweet peas, first year. I germinated them, and as soon as they came up, I moved them to their final destination. I germinated them in these milk cartons without a bottom. I cut out the bottom and transplanted them without moving anything so that the roots didn't get disturbed at all. And put them here so they have a slow growing period. If you live in a really cold climate, you might not be able to do this. But if you put some protection cloth, I'm sure you could do it. But sweet peas, I keep hearing over and over, do not like to be rushed. They don't like to grow indoors in a warm environment. They like to grow slowly in cool conditions. So I really hope it works out, because I've never smelled sweet peas before. I've got sweet peas growing on both sides here, and I plan to put some stakes and see if I can get like a little, I don't know, a little sweet pea tunnel going on. We'll see. Daisies. I am blown away by this plant. It's easy to grow from seed, and it's easy to propagate. It spreads sideways, and the little side shoots can be just cut right from the plant. And these side shoots have roots going already. I learned last year that they need to be cut at a certain time when they're flowering, before the thrips get them. But otherwise, it's really cheerful in a bouquet. Daisies. I have this whole row with daisies, so that'll be joyful. And here is a beast of a plant. Oh my goodness. Chrysanthemum. I just can't even believe how robust it is. It just wants to spread. I mean, it's crazy. And I learned that chrysanthemums can be propagated by cutting at any time of the year, any month for me. It's just amazing. And it blooms for the Dia de los Santos, or Day of the Dead. And I really like to have them when I'm thinking about loved ones and, you know, putting out their pictures and stuff. I plan to collect chrysanthemums for fall bouquets too. This here was an experiment. In the shade at the end of summer, it was still really hot. My plan was to try and get stock. So I wanted to take it easy, let stock grow a little bit, and then hopefully, I don't know what I was thinking, that she would bloom for winter. It didn't happen, but what I do have here is a really gorgeous stock plant that will bloom, but just not anytime soon. So that was a result of that experiment. I also sowed Phacelia, like I showed you earlier. Really nice, handsome, robust plant. I also put Nigella in there to see what would happen. Alyssum, she's blooming. And calendula. So I was just wondering if I could get early blooms if I sowed in summer, but it didn't happen. But anyways, I take notes. This is the florist carnation, or old-fashioned carnation I was telling you about. I got it last March from the garden center. Sorry, the nursery. And as soon as I brought it home, I took cuttings and I rooted them somewhere else. And also at the end of the year, I took cuttings again. That's what I just showed you in my kitchen. But it really is looking like that this is a perennial. These are the stems for next year. This stem is a little bit older, but these nodes are so strong, like our joints. Really look forward to that. It's not my favorite color. It's like a really, like a light yellow, almost like neon light yellow, if that even exists. I wouldn't even say it's pastel. It's a strange one. Not strange, but it's its own different color. We'll see. But I am impressed. I will be getting more carnations from now on, knowing that this is what happens. Sedum. In this row right here, along my walkway, last year I did bunny tail grass and it was just a mess. It was mixed in with other grasses. I didn't know what was what. I sowed it too thickly. It was just a mess. But this year I dug up some sedum and split them and put them in. We're all along this row. So I'll have that nice chartreuse green sedum. And then I'll have the flowers at the end of summer. But what I'm also doing to get flowers in June, or May, June, is leeks. All of these are leeks from last year, and anytime I buy leeks at the grocery store, I chop off what I'm gonna eat and then I plant the roots. And I've got this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I just keep plopping them in because I want some kind of interest in June. So that's going to be really nice. I got these long flat bricks because I plan to get some walls, and then I'll fill this with compost and everything else, because this will be where I have honesty or lunaria self-seeding year after year. I want it to be full of that. So lunaria blooms and puts foliage from January, February, March, April. And then I collect the seed heads that are really pretty, like I showed you in my kitchen, in April or May. And then starting in June will come up my lilies. I'm really excited about that. So lunaria, then lilies, and then I'll be thinking about some interest for July, August, September, October. I'll be thinking of my next plan. But right now in there, I've got to move them, but I've got little lettuce in some fabric pots. They're doing good so far. Volunteer viburnum. What? And then over here, I don't know what's happening, but I guess this one wants to flower. These leaves are gorgeous. Here I put my Halloween pumpkins from last year because my plan is that they rot down and then germinate right here. This area is facing the south and gets the least amount of frost. So least amount of humidity, frost, that means the leaves of these pumpkin vines in July, August, September are going to be least disturbed by cool air and any humidity that accumulates. And yeah, these are ornamental. They're not for eating. I just I really want to have a lot of them so I can decorate and share with neighbors. But yeah, pumpkins, they just rot down and they germinate right there in place. I'm doing the same thing right here. So I dug a hole, filled it with leaves and all kinds of stuff. So this mound is like being turned by worms and it's cooking. And then this guy rotting down the seeds will germinate in this delicious mound. Let's see what's going on. Yep. And this one also faces the south with the most sun. And I look forward to that. Oh, here's one. Bachelor's buttons. I'm gonna learn from last year and definitely thin them out. In a couple of months here, I'll be thinning some of them out because they need space. They look small right now, but each plant will need its own little room to grow. And a bigger plant with more space is gonna create some organized, healthy stems too. Look at this cutie, totally unaffected by the frost. Summer snow, it's called. But I don't know why it's called summer snow if it blooms here in spring. That's okay, but it spreads. And no weeds are getting through here. It just creates this little handsome mat of lushness in the middle of winter. I ordered 25 bare roots of echinops, and I've got some planted in the ground, and these are backups, just in case the moles disturb them. Backup echinops. I got them from Farmer Gracie, and she says, well, her team says that they may bloom in the first year, depends. But I really hope they do. Here's one that I put in the ground a month ago. It looks promising, like it wants to bloom. I read that echinops likes to grow slowly in cool conditions. And I'm guessing that's because of its deep taproot, because it's really drought and heat tolerant, and it only makes sense that it really needs to get ready for all that. Here's some Jupiter's beard, just waiting. I really look forward to seeing what she does, especially because I could use her in dried flower ornaments. I already forgot her name. It's like something, it's like a pink helichrysum. I got my giant fern leaf yarrow right here, completely unfazed by the cold weather. And the yellow flower heads are gorgeous. Yellow as yellow can be. This area right here, facing the south and gets a lot of sun, winter sun, I just went crazy and threw cilantro everywhere. It's gonna be a great harvest. And then along the edges, I put garlic, Peruvian lily or Alstroemeria. It's like her top growth dies off, almost like she's making her own self a blanket. Because down in here, look who's ready to run. Let me zoom. See that? She's just fine. Alstroemeria. I'm really happy about this. I relocated her and she is so much happier. She wanted full sun. She didn't want all the protection I was giving her. This is pink fleabane. I can't wait to see how she goes. Solidago. Much hardier than I thought. Does not need winter protection. Does not need summer protection. Amazing plant. Here's a mullein that's self-seeded. This is a curly leaf variety. And over here, right next to her, is a straight, like a flat leaf. So I gotta look up the differences, but this is just like the typical wild mullein. It's not the ornamental one, but they say that the smoke is healing for the lungs. So I'll have to give it a try. Stokes aster, completely unfazed. This is my DIY pond and my little friends. I got 3 of them, Huey, Dewey, and Louie. And the birds, they jump on these stones that I lined up on. It's like an iron rod that I propped up in there, so they can drink there during the winter and summer. Cardoon invading as usual. Hollyhock. This will be her 2nd year, so she'll be flowering. And Dusty Miller, I've got her over here with my cactus. I wouldn't do this in the summer, only in the winter, but I brought her in a pot in the full winter sun facing the south, in an area protected from frost. So she's okay. I was just afraid of her freezing and losing her, but it looks like it's going well. I've got here a cistus plant that I transplanted and she got pretty sad, but she's okay still. This was months ago and she's all right. She's got all this new growth right here on her lower stems, and it can be tempting to just like chop the longer ones, but I read that it could really stress her out. So what I'm gonna do is let her have all of this year, all these wonky branches, and then after flowering is what I read, then I will cut off those longer branches and let these be the leaders. Cistus albitus or something like that. We'll see. And here I've got, wow, a lot of enthusiasm here from my jackpot daisy. These were transplanted from another area, and they're really easy to propagate by cutting. It's like a perennial version of Feverfew, and it creates a huge mound with the same flowers as Feverfew, but these flowers come earlier. So, and the fact that their leaves are silver, they handle the sun really well. And drought tolerant. I'm just over the moon. I discovered these by accident, actually. I was trying to get Feverfew seeds and I got these. And I'm really glad I did. Only thing is I didn't space them correctly, again for the second time. But ideally, she has 12 inches on each side, 30 centimeters on each side for elbow room, because she really does make this huge mound. But anyways, I'm just glad I got her over here. It is a pretty compacted area that I haven't messed with yet. But to my surprise, these moles are tilling everything up. It's like they really wanted to work out for me. Thanks, guys. Right here, I've got a whole plan of interest. So, this is the Honesty Lunaria that I showed you the bed that I'm gonna make. That's what I'm gonna have over there with my lilies. But for now, she's over here. My experiment with her, because they say biennials, you wanna get them in the ground at the end of summer so that they grow, or so that they bloom in the next year. But actually, I did an experiment, like how many true leaves you have to have in order to get blooms next year. Well, I put them in the ground with one true leaf and they're going really slow. So, but I'm pretty sure the cold weather will trick them into doing their blooming this year. Anyways, I've got her in here. She'll bloom first, and then Feverfew. I mixed in one of my jackpot daisies that I was just showing you in the middle. Whoops. So these are all Feverfew and jackpot daisy. I've got ornithogalum to bloom after everybody, and that's going to be a nice show. I love this grass. I'm gonna split her and plant a whole drift, because look at it. It just looks like a fairy grass. Just love her. And the famous rue. I have another video that got like 2,500 views. What? I recorded a video about how I figured out how to use rue in bouquets. Basically, to sum up, it's not the flowers that you want, it's the seed pods. So check out that video. I'll make another video about it to maybe improve it a little bit, but yeah, rue is amazing. I love how it looks in winter. And then the moon garden, gorgeous. It self-seeds everywhere in cracks. It's all over the place. And it has a rich folklore history. It's just the smell of it, I don't know, it just takes me somewhere. It's not a good smell, it's not pleasant, but it just does something to you. It's like a memory. I don't know. Rue. Eucalyptus, happy, second year. This is my winter sowing area. I chose it because it gets sun during the day, but a little bit of, with the branches of this tree, it gets a little bit of a break. I want it to get warm, but not too warm, which is why I took these cartons, milk cartons. I cut them and flattened them out, and then I stapled them to make like a little block. Because what I want is, I want it warm, but not too warm, and I don't want the sun touching the pots and heating them up. I've got all kinds of stuff going on in here, but I'm not embarrassed to say it because I know if you're watching, that means you are doing all kinds of experiments too. But I've got like 50 things going on in here. I just really want to see who germinates easily outside so I can save room under the grow lights for other things. But here's just one of them. Hyssop, just the typical one. The licorice hyssop, wormwood, lady's mantle, blue plurum, creeping thyme. So, yeah, I've got all kinds of stuff going on in all of these. I didn't cut holes in the bottom. I don't know. I just did a few on the top because what I want is, I want them to drink from the bottom, not from the top, because we don't get enough rain. What I'm going to do is just check and fill from the bottom just to create the humidity if I need to. So that's it. That's my winter sowing, is just to figure out who germinates easily. Mint growing in the cracks. I'm on the north side of my house that gets no full sun in winter. And the other side of my house, on the north side of the fence, I also plant stock. So the idea is I'm keeping them in a cold place with no direct sun, because that lets them grow without being rushed. That's the key for having long stems. Yeah, so I've got them here. They can, because right now they slowed down. I put them in the ground and I put them in this box in, when was it? October. So now they're slowing down, but then they'll be picking up their speed and I'll get those long stems to be able to share with friends. Anytime I use a milk carton, I cut off the top, put holes in the bottom, and fill it with soil. Because it's good to have these on hand for taking cuttings or planting seeds that need a deep taproot. So I always have this collection going. And check out this tower of alyssum. I'm just so happy that I thought of this, because you know, I thought, what can I put in this tower that would be pretty? And I thought of alyssum because she kind of like cascades like a waterfall, and she flowers in the winter. I just love this tower. My little sitting area is coming together.